Hey, gang. As usual, not ready. Almost there. I don't know what it is. I sit down here. I get to doing things, important things. It's not like I'm clowning around. It's just that sorry. Conservative cults. One of the things we're going to talk about today. I, over the weekend, purchased I got to share a screen here. 1 second. I, over the weekend, purchased a washer and dryer. And there we go. Hello, everybody. Over the weekend, I purchased a washer and dryer, just a cheap one, just something that I can get hooked up here at the house on the ground level. So that obviously I got laundry to do, but so that when another storm like this comes, not if, when, and I need to take whatever I can take to higher ground, literally to higher ground, I can do it. I've got your basic washer and dryer, nothing big, nothing sexy, nothing, I don't even know how to say it, nothing that's not going to be able to be moved. And I'm just looking at everything, make sure I'm actually, yeah, we're live on all those things. Okay, good. It's a normal one. It's not the big one that I had. It's not stackable. The washer is a top loader, and it's light. It's easy. And as soon as I get, a higher ground, I'm going to be able to put it there. And I don't mean like that's going to be my washer and dryer once I get a life after renovation. It's going to stay here in the garage in my old laundry space. And when I have guests or when I have towels from the jet skis or the dogs or anything down here on the lower level, you wash it there. You don't have to hike it upstairs and bring it back downstairs, and you just wash it there. And, when Zach maybe moves into the lower level with his girlfriend, and maybe even if they get kids, there's multiple bedrooms and it's still a house. I won't necessarily have an occupancy permit for that, but it maybe they live upstairs with me officially. I don't know. The point being, it's going to be salvageable before it's debris, before it's rubble left over from the flood. Because I bought a refrigerator truck also. I don't mean a truck that has a refrigerator room in the back. I mean a cart that you strap a piece of appliance like that to, and you take it to a different spot very easily. And that's what this will be for. To continue with my life. So like I said, I don't have to do this every damn year. So the downside was that because I wanted to get dented and slightly damaged, these are refurbished, which makes me nervous. And so there's that. Plus, it was a hike. I got it done in Clearwater. And so I'll tell you the whole story, driving down and back twice, and why I had to do it twice. What I learned on the way through that whole process about conservative talk radio. Now, how in the hell did I learn anything about conservative talk radio by buying a washer and dryer? Well, I'll tell you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're also going to do the year in review. And when I say the year, I mean Yergz Radio and Mastiff.Media. And up the middle. And me. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I wanted to be at this point. But I'm a lot farther along than what a lot of people thought I'd get. And I think that's the bigger one. That's what matters. And that is, I don't have a graphic for him. But that is today's quote. Oh, God, my nose itches. My whole face itches. I know it's probably killing all of you too. But I just, there's just like humidity here. And I'm clearly not adjusted to it. I just want to check what I do have. Because today's quote, with regards to the conservative cult lifestyle. Where the hell is he? Okay, there. Yep. No, I got to make this, and I will. I've got 2 quotes from Wayne Gretzky, hockey great Wayne Gretzky. And they fit especially for the year in review. And I might use that one. And I might just use 2, but that'll be the morning motivation. I had one for Pierre's pot. I think it's Joe. He's coming later. Yeah. Pierre's pot, my buddy Joe will be on the way. He's not going to be on the air, I don't think. But he's going to be fixing the front end of the Mastiff.Media minivan, which is also going to get wrapped within the next week or 2. That's paid for. It's been paid for since July. And just doing the graphics has been such a pain in the ass. And everything else that's been happening. So, 99.1, WDJY. Oh, this poor dog. And that's, yeah, I'm going to use this one instead because I have a graphic for it. And it'll just be better to have a graphic and look decent. But come on, move. And this is one of the things I'm trying to do with being ready to go in the air. And I just get too much. And I start at 9:30 and it doesn't matter. And I got commercials that I got to read you now too, because that's. So here it is, morning motivation. I got to get rid of the other overlays because it's screwing up my. There we go. Let's do it that way. No. There's a way I can. There we go. There it is. All right. Yeah, I'd like to have this. That's still not what I want to do. There we go. That's better. Good. All right, let's do it. Morning motivation. We're moving. It's happening. We're doing this. For those of you listening and can't figure out why I have my head up my ass, I'm trying to get the graphic on the screen so that the poster that I'm about to show you, that I'm showing you on the video, You can find out where by going to Mastiff.Media. That changes too. Awesome. Cool. Go to Mastiff.Media if you want to watch, in case you're listening, or if you're sick of watching me screwing this up and you just want to listen. You can also find out where you can do that there. Of course, Yergz Radio being one of them. Wayne Gretzky says that a good hockey player goes to where the puck is. Makes sense? A great hockey player goes to where the puck is going to be. And when I first saw this quote, I was just like, wow. I was kind of dumbstruck because that is, it's kind of like a revelation, but it's also very common sense. And I saved this and I use this for myself because I told you all these graphics that I already have. And then in addition to the ones that I create specifically for a show are already a part of a file that rotates through on my desktops, on my 4 monitors, as well as my screensavers. And I immediately thought about if I could have had that concept in my head while I was still in the Secret Service, or if I could use that concept now in retirement as an entrepreneur, as a broadcaster, as whatever, then the level of success and also the frequency of it. Why is that green? There's a green line around my... There we go. There's a green outline around the one screen. I'm trying to get rid of it. If I can use this in life, such as Mastiff.Media and Up the Middle, which we're doing, and I think it has a really good chance of being a huge influence on what we do. And there's something else I'm seeing in the actual feed that I want to change. I'm sorry. Yeah, just follow me here a second. Push product likes and links. Okay, I think that's everything. I don't know. I'm trying to change one of the things that goes out over the broadcast that I don't want. People don't need to see that this is in 1080p or the number of people checking in, or where they're checking in as that one. But yeah, if I can take this and put it into my life like I do all the other quotes that are a part of this file, I can just keep that in the back of my head as I develop Mastiff.Media. I'm actually starting to say Mastiff.Media because .media is an actual ending to a URL, to a web address. I talked with John earlier this week from Build a Space. Their URL is build a dot space. This dot space is another ending. And so, again, their whole name is their URL. The UG.media, one of the stations that we're on, we'll be on later today. Actually, we're already on. Friday show was on a couple hours ago in London. And their name is UG Media, Underground Media. And it's not underground. UG stands for something else. I have no idea what it is. I can never remember it. But UG Media is also their web address. So Mastiff.Media, I've been saying it that way so that you hear that and you know it's a web address, but it's also a company. And I could do a podcast on YouTube like everybody else, take forever to develop an audience on that one channel, ignore everybody else on every other channel and every other possible platform that I could be broadcasting to, and never get their attention, or never even have the potential of getting their attention. Now at least I'm there. And it's only a matter of time before I get the ad spots on Google Ads, Spotify, all the places we've always been, and remind people that we're here. And to learn more, go to Mastiff.Media. And I think by doing that, by realizing that everybody else, sorry, I'm fixing something. Everybody else that has this certain level of success by doing what everybody else does, I don't think that they understand that they've plateaued. And Patrick Bet-David or David Pakman or Brian Tyler Cohen, all are growing, but they're all on like one or two destinations, and that's it. And in fact, David Pakman in recent months stopped being on the radio as we're getting started up. I forget what her name was, but there was a girl that I met through Podmatch who just left Sirius, I think, and just left, I think, perhaps also terrestrial radio for podcasting only. And I cringed for two reasons. One, we're not leaving podcasting, although we kind of sort of did over the past couple of months. We really haven't kept it up to date, and that's one of the things we'll talk about for 2025. But she felt that there was no money in radio. What's his name? Brian Shapiro from KSHP said that he doesn't want to be on any other stations other than where he's at now, unless he goes immediately into profit sharing, which means he is the producer of his own show, is not going to purchase the time the way we are and get into that medium. And so I've sat back, I really looked at it, took what little bit that I know. I do not fancy myself an expert. But I've taken what I do know and what I see does work and compared it to what they're doing. And I compared it to what I'm doing, what I want to do, what I felt maybe I should be doing and I'm not. Or, most importantly, what I need to be doing and am not. When I first started teaching myself this, and yeah, I don't have a degree in broadcasting. I don't have a degree in any type of media. It's history and political science, and that's it. And yes, I am considering. I have had a coach. I actually tried to reach out to her, like in the past week or two. I haven't heard back from her, but I have had coaches. You know what happened with John, Uncle John, and the hypocrite that he is. Yeah, we won't be going back to that. And I know a bunch of other people that also left. His co-host isn't there anymore. One of our listeners has contacted me and says he hasn't been back since I left, at least not religiously. But there's one company that I'm considering. I actually reached out to, so I should be hearing from them too. But the biggest thing is, what are we missing? Where is the puck going to go? And it just seems like Patrick Bet-David, David Packman, Brian Tyler Cohen, Dan Bongino, and everybody are simply going to where the puck is. Sure, Dan Bongino's got like 3 million viewers. That's awesome. It would be really awesome if they were 3 million viewers with a brain. And we're going to talk about that today too. And why the conservative movement is filled with sheep and is a cult. I was scared when I learned this over the weekend and yesterday. I'll tell you, I'll share with you why in the second half hour. We only have an hour today. And maybe I'll ramble longer. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Depends on if Joe gets here or I hear back from him. But I was scared with what I heard. It's not okay either. But Mastiff.Media is going to be where media is going to go. It's not there yet. And I'm very confident that we're going to get the funding in 2025. That we're going to get the funding in 2025 and that we're going to get some serious growth. I reached out to another station today and my good old friend stopping towns of San Francisco, Soma.fm. No, SomaFM.com. They should rebrand that and get Soma.fm. Oh, they would be so great. I got the window open today, too. I want to see if he pulls in. Joe. So figure it out what you're doing. What are you doing? Feel free to call and talk about it, please. 888 Yergz. 1-888-88 YERGZ. Or so I'm trying to edit something. There we go. Where are you in 2025? 1-888-88 Yergz, 1-888-88 YERGZ, or 844-GAY-LGBT. Call. Let me know where you're going. Let me know where you would like to see Mastiff.Media go. Also, for those on a social media destination or platform, you can let us know in the chat where you think that should be. Close it out so I can. So this, my dashboard is what goes to two other platforms, Chatter and Discord. Discord's back working, by the way. And I just want to, keep just the program, not my other stuff. So I maximize the screen as much as possible. I've got to take a break quick. When we come back, We'll do Pierre's pot and continue with the morning motivation and the year in review and projections for Mastiff.Media. 99.1 WDJY and the rest of the Mastiff.Media network. We'll be back after these words. Hey, gang. Does your house smell nasty? Do you want to freshen it up a little bit? Go to aromabypeter.com. Check out all of Peter's candles. It's what we burn here in Studio Yergz. I'm burning right now leather-scented candle. That's right, leather-scented. So go to aromabypeter.com/Yergz and check out his candles today.
I'm Jane Stahl, retired English teacher, and with my BFF, Susan Bebeck, we manage Studio B Fine Art Gallery in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. We showcase the art of hundreds of local artists, publish books of the poetry, prose, and art of local writers, offer classes, art parties, workshops, discussion groups, cater dinners. We've even hosted a wedding. And we're here to be the go-to place for friendship, learning, and fun in our community. Virtual tours of our exhibits are available right here on Yergz Radio. Let us introduce you to some amazing art and artists.
Check out Jane Stahl and everyone at Studio B in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Please visit our YouTube channel, Talk TV 24. How's your website? It's awesome. And it's going to be even better once it's back up. Yeah, we're not associated with Limit Break Digital anymore. It's nothing personal. It's just that, I mean, I guess it is. I don't know. But we've been advertising him forever. I didn't capitalize on the agreement and that there's updates that he's responsible for that he didn't do. Only because most, like anything like, hey, we use this link now too. Could you update that on the whatever? I didn't really send him anything like that. But then there's also should be like some level of software update that we should at least keep on top of, that I should be notified about, hey, this is going to change. I had to see, and David Beckmeyer saw it as well, that Yergz.com was down, and now it still is. And I got no heads up like that was going to happen. And it's WordPress. It's a WordPress website. It's not like it's, you know, we're not talking about apple.com or a bank or anything. And I love the website. I love what he did. But, you know, you've got a part in this too. And he decided that he was going to bill me what I just think is an unnecessary and inappropriate amount. I could pay it. But didn't I pay that for the past year when I was running his ad and still do on Yergz Radio? I got to take that down. So I got to do so much with the ads right now. So we talked with John Kersey, like Jersey, but with a K. We talked with John earlier this week, and we're partnering with, I got it on my to-do list, get all the names of it. Build a Space is one of them. He introduced us to Ausha for the website, or excuse me, for the podcast that we're going to start, and that I'm going to do for Biz Growth Collective. Think LinkedIn, but worth paying for. And we did a little tour of that yesterday. So he's a web developer. He's offered to do it for free. He didn't even know me yet. That's how much he wants to be part of the relationship, and also how confident he is on what he can get done. So yeah, we're not doing Limit Break Digital anymore. And if I don't soon hear from Aroma by Peter, there's going to be another one. So what are we doing? Well, Momentum.Fitness hasn't let me down. I haven't been there, and that's my problem. But I will be. I'll get back in there tonight. And you should too. Why? Well, since I've moved to this area and have been going to that gym since I've moved there, they've changed. They've grown. Talk about us growing. They've grown. There's so much more equipment. It's maintained. It's updated, whichever is needed. Their space has grown. They're outside. Not only do they have the inside workout space and now a dedicated stretching area and a plunge tank and a sauna, but they've also got CrossFit stuff outside. They're in a strip mall. And they're on the end of the strip mall, and it's a dead end. So it's not the entrance. They're at the dead end. But they don't get deliveries. Not that can't be pulled up out front or used in whatever space they leave in the back. So they put like AstroTurf down. They've put those big ass tractor tires. All kinds of CrossFit stuff. And basically created an outdoor training space in Florida where you would have something like that. And I'd love to see the capability of moving some of the benches out there. That would be cool. That would be really cool. And maybe even, some of the, like the pec deck or some of the smaller, like cables aren't an option. That's too big. It's too cumbersome to move in and out because you wouldn't want to leave it out there overnight. Even though it's a 24-hour gym, you don't want to leave that out there overnight. But everything and everything today. MomentumFitnessandWellness.com is where you need to go. And just tell Anthony, like I said on the Limit Break Digital, we all got a guy. And when it comes to fitness, Anthony's mine. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Tell Anthony, you know me. He'll take care of you. I don't know what special thing he'll do for you. But now it's New Year's. Hello. This is when you go in and do that stuff. There's got to be something for him to get you in there. But all you have to do is really walk right up to the front door. There's a QR code on the front door. You scan the front door. You can sign up while you're standing there and go right in. It's that easy. So Momentum Fitness and Wellness in Bayonet Point and Jasmine Estates on US 19, Port Richey, Florida. Check that out. You will not be disappointed. Forget going to those commercial places and non-judgment places. There's no judgment there, and you can work out with your shirt off. Even if you got a gut like me. Do it. Get your ass there. Also, Chase Bank. Oh my God, my eyes are itching. I got to take like allergy meds or something. It's killing me today. Chase Bank. Get $300 back for qualified applicants when you open a Chase checking account. Go to my page. I'll put that up back up. Go to my page. There it is on the screen. Ross Yergz, in quotes, Yergz. Go to that. And that's where, in lieu of Yergz.com, my personal page is where all my links are for affiliates. There's a post there. It's pinned to the top of the page. You'll see it. Click on that link. Any of the things that are a discount by coming through me, you need to use that link. So click on that link for Chase. Same thing for Capital One credit cards. What's another where you can get it? Frontier Internet. By blackit.com/Yergz or by Peter/Yergz. All of them go to Ross Yergz. Let's see who's messaging me on. Go to Ross Yergz and check out those affiliates. And hey, you can put that in the regular chat. You don't have to send that to me personally. One of our super fans says he wouldn't mind seeing me working out with my shirt off. Yeah, right now, I don't think you like it as much. But anyway. Okay, so Pierre Robert is a mentor of mine. Oh, I didn't. There we go. Pierre Robert is a mentor of mine. He has no idea who I am, but I've been listening to him since he got on the air in Philadelphia in 1981. I was 9. And he's been with 93.3 WMMR ever since. Still there to this day. 69-year-old hippie. He does this thing where, and I totally stole it from him. I'm admitting it. It says, he does this thing where he does a toast of the morning sauce, which is coffee, in the direction of, meaning he's cheersing somebody, what he calls good citizen, also known as some honored listener. Today's honored listener is Joe, my former neighbor, used to live right across the street. Sadly, got priced out of the neighborhood by a greedy landlord who now owns the house in an empty format. There's nobody there since the flood. And Joe is going to be repairing my minivan, keeping my very own Minerva. Pierre Robert has had a Volkswagen bus minivan type, like the original minivan that he crossed the country in from San Francisco, speaking of Soma FM, from San Francisco to start his career in Philadelphia. And now is actually on the second, maybe even by now the third version of the minivan of the Mastiff, the Mastiff.Media of Minerva, his own hippie minivan. So a toast of today's sauce. All I need is coffee and my dog is today's mug from buyblacket.com/Yergz, by the way. Today's toast of the morning sauce in the direction of Joe, who's going to be fixing my front struts today. I was worried that we were going to have rain, but it's actually clearing up and looking pretty good. So, Joe, I'll see you when you get here. Till then, we're going to go back to the morning motivation and how that translates into the year in review. I started broadcasting like this just on YouTube back in 2000 when I was still in, 2001, when I was still in LA. I had such a good year day trading. I wanted to share that. And I also wanted to use another YouTube channel that I have for purposes of communicating with the hospitality community on my project at that time in Belize, and then also here in the Tampa Bay area in St. Pete Beach, actually Gulfport, near St. Pete Beach. And as I evolved, one of my mentors, virtual mentors, Sean Cannell from Think Media, got his start by, the same thing, broadcasting really for somebody else, as we all should. Anybody who does a podcast, you shouldn't do this because you want a mic in front of your face. You should do this because you've got something worthwhile that has value to share to somebody else. And Sean was doing the broadcast for his church and putting it on YouTube. And in the process of that, he just figured out YouTube and wrote a book on it. And it was so good, YouTube got a hold of it and said, wow, did you tell him? They're like, no, I didn't tell him. And all the executives are like, I don't know this guy. So they reached out and said, hey, you need to come with us. And now Sean Cannell probably still helps his church, but also has a company consulting companies like mine on how to do well on YouTube. There is, however, something I disagree with. He said, and his company teaches, for you to take your social media and direct your viewers to your YouTube channel. Well, that's great for all the metrics and analytics of your YouTube channel. But if you're really in this for purposes of reaching people who could value from the information that you have or the story that you want to tell, shouldn't you be on as many platforms and destinations as possible? And maybe even in as many formats as possible? Video, audio only, audio this, audio that, terrestrial radio, internet radio, RSS feeds and podcasting, social audio like Chatter and Discord. Although they're actually both sharing video now too. My job is to find you, not the other way around, and make it easier for you to see or hear me. So that was one thing I disagreed with him. I still tune in. I still watch his company's videos. I still take part in their calls and their meetings. I paid for a lifetime membership. So, and I still learn things every time. Just one where I found a difference, and especially for me and the types of things I was doing at the time, which was talking about day trading. That's my page here on, if you're watching on Facebook, there's a page for it. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a channel for it called The Doggy Traders. And the head, it's like my own Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or my own cryptocurrency. And it's a coin with a Mastiff head on it. I should probably incorporate that into the overall brand instead of the Mastiff head that I've got. Although I do like the Mastiff head that I've got. We'll see what I do with that. Anyway. So, Sean says, steer everything to YouTube. I say, don't do it. Now, I realize that even though I considered myself, and for tax purposes, was a professional trader, I felt that I didn't really have the actual knowledge to really fully continue Doggy Traders. So I've left that sit, and I'm lying in bed one day going, I like this. So I do like having a mic in front of my face, but also I did see the appreciation of the people who benefited from me teaching day trading and crypto investing. So now what? And it was the weekend. It was about 2 weeks before I had to put one of my dogs down. So, and I knew it was coming. But it was also the weekend that Dan Bongino and Tucker Carlson were both fired from Fox News. And I thought, my own degrees, political science, history, 21 years in the Secret Service, I can do better. And so I started the podcast, Up the Middle. And I started it as a video podcast on YouTube first, and then realized there was the potential for the audio podcasting. And I started looking into that. Went with Spotify, which is where I'm currently at with Up the Middle, although as a podcast, it hasn't been active. And that's one of the things we'll talk about for 2025. I started Up the Middle. By the end of that summer, this is last year, I'm branching out into internet radio. Solely because I wanted to expand. I saw what I was doing with Up the Middle as a podcast and as a video podcast. I wanted to expand the audience based on the same concept that I discovered with Wayne Gretzky, go to where the puck is going to be. And with Think Media, put that back up, go to where the puck is going to be. And with Think Media, how do I do that? So there's that. I don't know why this doesn't come back the same way I had it. There we go. Go to where the puck is going to be, and not where it's at, but also direct, instead of directing all your viewers to one platform, in that case, YouTube, go to where they're at. And so that's what I did. I got on internet radio. I meet Glenn Sportcat Jackson, who brings, at that time, 2 shows to Yergz Radio, and then introduces me to the concept of self-syndicating into terrestrial radio through what's called brokered radio. And that's when we partnered with WDJY, where we're on the air right now for another 11 minutes, as well as 1490 WWPR down here in Tampa. 1490 was recently sold, as you know. We're still, running strong with 99.1. We're now also on Tan Talk on Fridays here in the Tampa area, as well as K-Shop on Wednesdays. We start there tomorrow. And are there Wednesday and Friday. And we have to push back on Chicago for right now, just finances. We've got to do better with ad sales first. But we are going to where broadcasting is going to be. And in the process, we're bringing local news reporting back to local stations, such as Tan Talk, or whatever station we buy. That's right. We are looking to buy AM/FM stations. And I couldn't be more psyched. I really believe that what we've got planned, and I don't talk about this too aggressively because I don't want somebody with more money taking the idea, especially while I see a void, and that's what entrepreneurship is. That's what going to where the puck is going to be is. I see a void in broadcasting. And I believe, having sat back and watched Julia, I think her name is, the girl who left Sirius for podcasting. She's with NPR. And Brian Shapiro. And Patrick Bet-David. And David Pakman. And Brian Tyler Cohen. And I think, what's his name? Bongino is only on Rumble. And that's what's next. We'll talk about that, and we'll do a second hour today until Joe gets here anyway. They limit themselves. They go to where the puck is. Dan Bongino's puck are conservative sheep. Brian Tyler Cohen's puck are progressive libtards. Nobody's crossing over. They all talk about building bridges, but all they do are widen valleys. That's what Up the Middle does. We talk about the right, we talk about the left, and we take everybody up the middle. We are going where everyone else will want to be. Got to take another quick break. When we come back, cults on the right. 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff.Media network. We got some scary cult stuff up next. Translating Trump. Hey gang, it's Yergz. Every Wednesday at Up the Middle, we add co-host Philip Blackett, a Harvard-educated and frequently published author who happens to be a Trump supporter. Join us as he translates Trump during Wednesday's Up the Middle Politics for the Rest of Us. Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific on KS. Wow, that was actually good. I just listened to that on America One Radio, and it sounded really good. So let's get back on Chatter for that. Yeah, I've got to leave. I've got to be on Chatter on my phone and on the desktop. Whatever. Okay, so I told you before, and this is what, first of all, America One Radio, for those listening there, 99.1 WDJY, for those listening there. We will be losing you in about 6 minutes. So go to Yergz Radio, YERGZ radio.com, or go to Facebook and search Up the Middle Radio Show. That's the easiest place to get the video, unless you're aware of Talk TV 24 or Up the Middle Yergz on YouTube. Okay, now let's get to it. So I'm buying a washer and dryer, a more simple, easier, lighter, much more mobile washer and dryer to move into 2025 with and to keep in my garage. So I can do laundry now, and we can do whatever laundry I use it for, even after I move to a second floor that's not built yet. And I find a place for a good price down in Clearwater. I buy the washer and dryer for less than $800. Actually, not even, just a little over $700. And good size. I'm going to get good size loads in it, and we'll be fine. They, as I wait, they test the dryer one last time to make sure that it's good, and still comes with a 3-year warranty. So there's that. But they're testing that. It was right as they were closing, so they couldn't test a washer. The boss doesn't let them stay to do overtime. So I had to come back Monday to get that. That put me, because it was about an hour one way, that put me in my minivan for about 4 hours from Saturday to yesterday. And I decided to use that 4 hours. Remember, we're going to where the puck is going to be, not to where it is. I decided to use that 4 hours by looking at where the puck is. Meaning that I tuned in a Sirius, which I subscribe to, and I went through their talk genres of channels. And I listened to their progressive channel, which is far left. And there was a POTUS channel where they talked about essentially kind of like us. It's political, but not even up the middle. It's just more towards the president. And then there was their channel, the Patriot channel. Because I guess left-leaning Americans aren't patriots. The Patriot channel for all those asshats on the right. I'm going to reset this clock here that I got for That's audio. Where's the... Oh, there it is. Yeah, I set that so I can definitely, tell everybody one more time before we lose them. And wow, are they far right? Now, I would be pissed if I listened to that channel every day. Because for a network, Sirius XM, that doesn't have commercials, there's a lot of time away from that talk show. And so you don't have to spend any more time away from me. If you're on America One Radio right now, or 99.1 WDJY, switch over Yergz, Yergz, radio.com, and listen there for today, the rest of today. Because especially a progressive station like America One Radio, you're going to want to hear the rest of this, because you don't want to be like these guys. And until then, if you don't switch over, sorry for that, but we will see you tomorrow for Translating Trump. It'll just be me. Philip Black will be back next week, but I will be here on New Year's Day. All right, Happy New Year if I don't see you. Boom, there they go. And I just got to reset you. Did you hear that? That's us losing 99.1. So I'm listening to the Patriot station on Sirius. Wow. And I told you earlier, I said that I was scared. I was seriously scared. These people are freaks. And that's not me being not inclusive. That's not me being judgmental. That is me being realistic. For a network that does not have commercials, they certainly like promoting themselves a lot. And you know how I critique Donald Trump about the way he speaks and how it's so much like Hitler, the speech pattern, saying something like, of course you agree with me, after all, I'm me, and saying it multiple times to pound it into you. That is exactly what they do. But this frequency and this intensity makes Donald Trump look like Mr. Rogers. I'm not Mr. Rogers. I tell people I'm the Howard Stern and Mr. Rogers of politics, because I teach, I'm nice, I'm welcoming, but I also give you some tough love and brutal honesty. Wow. To say that they pounded them, like they've got, I don't even know, it's not an advertisement. They're not selling anything. It's indoctrination at its purest and most intense levels. They have what I'll call commercials, because I don't know what else to call it, just for the Second Amendment. And they even say that registering your firearm is a violation of the Constitution, which only proves to me they can't read. Because in that Second Amendment are the words, well regulated. This isn't that hard. And I thought Fox News was the one that spreaded hate, divisiveness. And I've said it before. I've said these exact words right here into this and every other microphone that's been connected to my system. There's nothing like a good old-fashioned Republican scare tactic. Wow. Does Sirius XM rock when it comes to that? To say that they implement fear, I seriously think is an understatement. This is why my brothers didn't talk to me during the entire Christmas vacation that I was home for. Because I'm not like them. But probably by my baby brother Ryan taking me to the NRA headquarters when we both lived in Washington and having me shoot with him there, which I enjoyed. I love shooting. I carry guns myself. But I have no problem telling my local police that I'm on their side. I have no problem them knowing what I have. In the event that I was a bad guy, they'd have some level of an advantage or some sort of start. Yeah, it's. And then they talked about it. Then they had the conversation that we've had here. The number of vacation days taken by Joe Biden. What they didn't count were the number of golf outings attended by Donald Trump. I don't remember exactly what it was. And again, I was driving, so the opportunity to take notes wasn't there. But yeah, I don't care if it's Donald Trump and how often he goes golfing, or Barack Obama and how often he goes golfing, or whether or not Joe Biden sleeps on the beach, or whether or not George W. fishes from one of the lakes on his property. There is no such thing as a day off when you're even running to be the president of the United States. Joe Biden hasn't had a day off since, I would say, probably 2019. And at late 70s, early 80s, where he's at now, that's a lot. Same thing with Donald Trump. He has not had a day off, even though he got voted out of office. It's no secret that he was wanting to come back. And to his credit, as much as I don't like the guy, I'll still credit him when applicable. Sorry, I'm looking at different things here. I'll still credit when it's applicable. And for his work ethic to regain the White House, he did what he had to do. I still think he's a traitor for what he's done already. I still think he's an awful president. And I think you asshats that voted for him are fucking stupid. Because you fell for it. Because you're in denial of everything I just talked about. I mean, these people say that they're not in a cult. And they dress in capes. First of all, that's not a garment anymore. Nobody dresses in capes anymore. You're not Dr. Jekyll. You're not Zorro. Nobody dresses like that. But they dress in these red, white, and blue capes with the word Trump down the spine. And then get on their knees and worship the guy. Literally. I've seen the rallies. That's who you support. So tell me again how he's not like Hitler. Tell me again how you are not like that German population that stuck your head in the sand and voted for this guy. He's not even in office. The price of gas is up. We've been drilling more than any other presidential administration in history. So this whole, oh, you'll like him a little more when the price of gas comes down. Well, that opportunity came along and it didn't happen yet. And I don't know about his policies or anything, but there's literally no country in the world. There's no country in history that has implemented his economic policies and has survived. None. Zero. Yet here we are, making America great again. By what? Sending it to the colonial times? And just listening to these asshats, ignorant. And it wasn't even one of the time spots was Sean Hannity, who I don't get, because I thought if you were on Sirius, if you had a show like that on Sirius, you were like Howard Stern is dedicated to Sirius. He's not on Spotify. You know, only his clips are on his YouTube channel. But here's Sean Hannity with a show on Sirius and on Fox, all over the same stations we're on or trying to be on. Actually, we're not trying to be on his stations. We're going to other independent, and then we'll just start the advertising to tell you that we're on that. And there's some things that we've learned about the advantage of being on terrestrial and internet radio, which you'll see in 2025. But the cult atmosphere that was, I mean, and don't get me wrong, whatever they called it, I don't even remember, but the progressive talk channel was clearly skewed left. There was this lady on, oh, this was an urban one, they called it, I think, a black channel. Karen something, name fitting because she was kind of bitchy. The discussion there, and I agree with it in part or in certain aspects, but the discussion there was being white in America. And essentially the question was, would I, as a white man, have immediate advantages over a black person, male or female? And I'm like, well, of course. That's obvious. That's how our country is since before the Civil War, when black people didn't even have freedom. or very few black people had freedom. So to think that they are, quote unquote, caught up to us, and the one guy brought up a good point. In the 50s, when we knew there were Jim Crow laws, we did what we thought we needed to do to eliminate them, and immediately thought that black people, boom, they're now equal to white people, and didn't see the, as I worded a moment ago, the catching up that they needed to do, or that we needed to do with them to give them the same opportunity as whites. But wow, was she also, as somebody more left, she would talk over people. Like there was this one guy, I kind of think they were paying him to be this way, just so that they had somebody to fight with. Because I mean, it's so blatantly obvious that black people have a disadvantage. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. The sooner you say that, the sooner we can sit down and talk about what we can do to help them out. And not that they need to be helped, but that the playing field needs to be leveled. That's it. Nothing's going to be taken away from me. I'm still going to have my pension. My kid's still going to grow up with the same opportunities he's had. And that because of, population, there's going to be the same need. So he's not going to lose anything. But boy, was she a bitch. As was, I don't even remember who it was. And like I said, Sean Hannity was one of the programs that I was going back and forth between the different channels, who is, as you all probably know, stupid conservative. And he personally just outright stupid. I don't remember the names of whatever shows were on for the progressive or liberal station or the POTUS station. And I love that they used POTUS. POTUS so serious. Like, stop. We use POTUS in the government because we're writing President of the United States 20 times a minute. That's why we say POTUS, not to sound cool. But none of them could really touch the fear and divisiveness. And yeah, I will also say hate of the lady that was substituting for Sean Hannity. And this wasn't this Karen girl. That was the black lady on the Urban channel. This other lady, I have no idea. Never heard of her. No idea who she is. Don't care. Because I'm only ever going to listen to that to just, get an update. Are they really this much of an asshat? But that's why we are so divided in government and in society. Because we let these idiots rule the airwaves. So I'll circle back to our year in review. And projections for 2025. As I got into not just being on YouTube, but RSS feed podcasting and internet radio and terrestrial radio. And if you want to know the differences between each, check out my new podcast that starts this week. I'll talk about it here. I'll let you know when it's actually dropped. The first episodes, we're going to be recording that tonight and dropping by the end of the week. And I'll let you know what directories it's on at first as it grows to other directories, et cetera, et cetera. How to podcast from home. And what the difference is between Icecast and Shoutcast protocols and RSS feeds and STMP and so on. So the divisiveness and the fear-mongering. That was probably the biggest thing. In addition to divisiveness and the constant us versus them, the libtards are coming to take your guns. Meanwhile, that's nowhere in the Democratic platform and probably should have been. And I've been saying it. I am pro 2A. Do you understand that? I am for carrying a firearm if I so choose, or that my brothers do so responsibly. I'm proud of them for doing that. Asshats and ignorant fucks, though they may be. And yeah, I'm pissed at them still. I flew to Pennsylvania to not talk to either of them. The 2 times I got into any conversation, it was because I inserted myself into it. Nobody asked me how I was doing with rebuilding my house. Nobody asked me how my radio show or podcast was doing. My cousin did. And even he had this like shit-eating green smirk on his face. Like, how's your podcast doing? I talked to about 100,000 people a day. Thanks. But I've said, being in the Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment community, and by the way, I'm also for the other 9 amendments of the Bill of Rights, something a lot of 2A people aren't. Except they do say that they're for free speech until you disagree with them. And that's on both left and right. I've said, as members of the 2A community, we do a poor job policing ourselves. And that's going to bite us in the ass. I've said it. I've said it here. I've said it in rooms like that, conversations like that with family, wherever. I'll say it wherever you want me to say it. It's the truth. It's obvious. And if you can't see it, then I can't help you. I'm just deleting a bunch of shit in the email. I'm waiting for Joe to get here. If you can't see it, I can't help you. So they're going to police for, and then they are going to take guns. They are going to force registration, which should be happening already. They should be doing much more with background checks. It's too easy for inappropriate people to get a gun. That's it. You don't have to be that's not an anti-2A statement. It's a pro-society statement, which is what the Second Amendment is supposed to be for. But God, does Sirius XM, their Patriot channel, which is another thing. Look, I know Patriots. They're friends of mine. You ain't it. You, listening to this right now, you ain't it. You, just switching back to Patriot channel on Sirius XM, you ain't it. I don't care that you're a father. I don't care that you're a husband. And I don't care that you're a patriot. So you don't have to put any of those 3 words in your social media profile. It ain't you. Patriots are identified by the rest of us. He's a patriot. Been serving his country at the federal level for as long as I've been alive. Whether you like him or not, Joe Biden is a patriot. George W. made decisions that you probably don't even know about, that I suspect have been made. Flight 93 over Shanksville, Pennsylvania. I don't believe crashed. I believe it was shot down. My personal opinion. I don't have any inside information on that. But for that to have happened, nobody said, oh, well, I'm going to just arbitrarily say, the use of force allows me to do that while I'm flying my fighter jet. I'm going to shoot it down. No. Those jets were scrambled for that purpose. My opinion. But when you see a crash site, I forget what the actual number was. We'll just say, and I'll provide you an example that's relevant, but we'll just say the radius of the crash site at Flight 93 in Shanksville was 10 miles long. The radius. Now, and I'm not big on the more advanced math classes, but a radius is the distance from the center point of a circle to each and every point on the edge of that circle around all 360 degrees. So a diameter, which is the one end to the other through the center, would be 10 miles. No crash has ever been that big unless it first exploded up in the air and then coned and spread out as it fell to the earth. When it hits the ground as one solid object, it explodes and then goes out into that cone. But I promise you, it does not go for 10 miles. It does not go for 5 miles in each direction. Maybe it goes for 1. And that's the difference between a crash site and a debris field from a shot down aircraft. That was a tough decision to be made that day, that morning, having probably never discussed that before. So George W. Bush is a patriot. Benny Johnson, who sits right around here in Tampa, doing the same thing I'm doing, in the same manner as that on Sirius, spewing the hate and the separation and divisiveness and the scare tactics. I hear myself in my headphones saying it's like a little bit off. He is not a patriot. That anybody still at this point supports Donald Trump shows you are not a patriot. You're just not. So stop. Like, it actually gets painful after a while. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up because we got an hour and a half now. And I haven't heard from Joe, but that doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and talk on the radio all day just because he's not here yet. So anyway, that was my 4 hours. And I've always known this. I've always known that these far right, not every conservative, not every Republican, but the MAGA, the far right, whether you're MAGA or not, that end, the one thing that brings them all together, for as divided as they are right now, is the elements of divisiveness, fear-mongering, and hate. They keep saying, you won't hate him as much to those who don't like the guy. Not just the left, but the rest of the world with common sense. And I always reply back, nobody's using the word hate but you. Not even people on the left that hate the guy. They're at least just saying that he's not their president. So anyway, here's what's coming up in 2025. We are looking to purchase, there's another delivery truck. We are looking to purchase smaller AM, FM stations. I have a call later this week with a likely investor. It might get pushed to next week. They'll let me know. And we are expanding our actual network of not just social media platforms, but also internet stations, AM, FM stations that we partner with, or like I said, eventually actually own, for purposes of bringing back local news to local audiences by local sources. So, local news. Something that started disappearing when we started seeing newspapers become conglomerates, and then radio and TV stations become conglomerates. We are going to create that conglomerate right from the beginning, but with the local connections, sources, staff, you name it. And yes, I actually have a way that it'll be paid for. Of course, that's the part I'm not saying. So, yeah. What was the positive talk in a negative world? But there was something else I was saying using a line that I found and put together and whatever. Politics for the rest of us, for up the middle. I like that. I think we did plenty of, I think today's whole show was really the combination of the three segments that we do: tracking Trump, monitoring MAGA, and watching Wokies. There was a chance to partner with a company called Seeger Media that we're not going to do. They had a directory where they were actually, and the guy's in his 70s, he wants to sell. I'm like, well, that's great. I'd buy it, but it's not what I do. And it's just me. So I'm not, just because you're in some sort of broadcasting, that's not enough for us to be similar enough that I would be interested in buying what you had. I hope he sells and makes whatever number of millions that he can get for it. But he had essentially like a Spotify, or for music, or an Apple Music, or some sort of directory like that. And he's partnered with somebody like Paul McCartney and a bunch of other people, which is awesome. But it's just not what I do. And I don't have the money to branch out into something like that. But what we are doing is concentrating on using Up the Middle as our guinea pig, but also other programs. So if you've got a podcast that you want to get onto internet radio, or you want to get into what's the word I'm looking at? Get into just a platform that's going to help you expand. Write us, news, NEWZ, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. And let us know. And we'll talk about it. I got to call a guy today for my first sports show. We'll be calling him back today once I get off the. No, that's junk mail. I got sad news from Cynthia Bryant. She did one of my first websites when I lived out in LA. And it's one of those, oh, please check out these photos that I found. Here's a link. Yeah, it's not what it is. Oh, is that Joe? No, Jan Beaver. No need to apologize, Jan. I want to check how we're sounding on Yergz radio right now. I got to update that too. God, I got so much work to do. I kind of hope Joe doesn't come today. As much as I got to get that done. So check 1, 2. Oh. But yeah. Oh, wow. That sounds good. I really love this mic. And I could actually hear it starting to create a loop. That's how sensitive it is, just from my earbuds. But yeah, just to kind of wrap up, serious talk radio for the conservative and the liberal, it's extremism. And I really believe there is an opportunity. And not that I wouldn't put a conservative show on Yergz radio. I absolutely would. Not that I wouldn't put a progressive only show on Yergz radio. Absolutely. If there's a listenership for it, if it's well done, if it sounds good. There was just a Facebook question. One guy said, if you could really only concentrate on one of two elements of your show, which one is more important? Sound quality or content quality? I said, you can have the most exciting show ever. If it's got static, if it's the volume's too low and people got to really strain to hear it and to listen, if the sound quality is poor, you will not retain listeners. You might be able to get them back later with better content. But if they already know that it sounds like shit, they're not coming back. And everybody was saying just the opposite. Oh, content is king and blah. No, it's not. You can be boring. I mean, look at I talked about 100,000 people a day. Think I'm exciting? I don't fearmonger. I don't mother F people in broadcasting that don't deserve it. I don't do it for just good nature or general principle. I articulate why. But that was the thing with that I just found so fascinating was that the left, as I listened to the substitute for Sean Hannity, the left is evil. The left is going to pervert you and convert you to being left. Nobody's trying to do that over there. They're at least trying to get along. And I do believe that there's a certain level of legitimacy about when they bitch about the right, at least right now. Because you're the ones that keep stepping on your dick. But the hate, the divisiveness, the fear-mongering, and the marketing techniques. I have never heard so many commercials to buy gold as I have in conservative talk radio. Don't we have Bitcoin now? And I have never heard so many commercials to buy Bitcoin as I have in progressive talk platforms. They're not as much on radio, to be clear. And again, that's one thing I want to bring people together. And that's what Mastiff.Media is going to do. Tomorrow I'll be back to talk about it all over again, some newer subjects, because it's translating Trump. So I'll try, without Philip Blackett, to do so on New Year's Day. We'll be joined by KSHP in Las Vegas, the first day of our 3-month contract there. We have signed through March, and we're giving that a test. KSHP Las Vegas, both AM and FM. I forget what their website is, but it's called K-Shop. The biggest types of show, and I don't get it. I haven't listened enough to really try to figure it out, but they sell stuff. Like if you mention K-Shop when you go to a certain restaurant, you get like 10% off. And it's because you mentioned K-Shop that they give you that extra 10% off. You just simply don't mention K-Shop, you don't get it. So, yeah, it's a shopping radio show. Station. The whole station is that I learned about it because I found Brian Shapiro and was then on his show soon after the Trump assassination attempt. He's just basically like me. I think he's definitely more progressive. And overtly so. I don't try to hide it. There's plenty of things I'm a libtard about. Certain ideologies in wokeness. Like Howard said, to me, the opposite of woke is asleep. And if that's how you're describing your interaction with society, that you live through your day asleep, how is that good? What, you're woke because you follow a scientist who legitimately is trying to save the world? Why is that bad? What's wrong with that? Well, God didn't give us the vaccine. Yes, he did. He gave us the brains to develop it and the common sense to test it and the procedures for which to use it. But unless there's from actual fire and brimstone, then it didn't happen. It's like the story of the guy that probably one of my neighbors here gets caught in a flood. The waters get so high and get so bad, he climbs to the roof of his house. And a fishing buddy of his comes along in a boat. Says, "Hey, climb in. I'll take you to safety." And the homeowner says, "No, Jesus will save me." Okay. Well, I'll see you at church then. And the fishing buddy rows off. A larger boat comes along. It's the sheriff's department. "Climb into the boat." You like this loudspeaker? "Jesus will save me." Sheriff's department's like, "All right, whatever you want to do." Off they go. I don't have a helicopter sound, sorry, but a helicopter flies over and it's a Coast Guard. And they start dropping the basket, pick the guy up, waves him off. "No, Jesus will save me." Well, they've got other people that want to be saved. So they fly off. The flood waters rise. The roof is no longer a safe place. The guy falls into the water and drowns. He gets to heaven, and waiting for him is Jesus. As he comes up to the pearly gates, he's crying, all disappointed. He sees him, says, Jesus, I thought you would save me. Jesus said, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. What the hell else do you want? All right, everybody. That's it. Tomorrow, we will be doing more with translating Trump because it is Wednesday, even though Philip Blackett will be off for the holiday. I will still be here on a holiday, on New Year's Day. And let's get a new start. 2025 coming in tonight. Good God, it's coming in tonight in 11 hours and 16 minutes. I've actually got on one of my other clocks that I'm not using anymore for the show. I've actually got 11 hours and 15 minutes and 35 seconds. Boom. See if I can share this. Let's see if I can share this. I'll put it on the screen quick. Maybe I should just continue going all day. Oh, that would be so cool. Just sit down and talk to you for a little bit. Have that as like the counter. Unable to share. Oh, this particular app doesn't let me screen share. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll get out of this. And I need to change it. So every time I use something, it's in one of my files. I put the date that I used it. So like this Wayne Gretzky photo. I'm going to put 24/12/31. Because another quote to, oh, we lost connection. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, so if you saw me freeze on video, I don't know what the hell happened here, but we seem to be still going. We're still on the radio, so I know we still have internet. But this reporter is asking him about, I mean, he's the great one. He gets the nickname, the great one, not because of himself. He doesn't actually like being referred to as the great one. That's how humble the guy is. I learned that by listening to him on Howard Stern when he was a guest there. But yeah, he doesn't like being 1246. What did you see? Did it freeze? Is that what you're referring to there, Ken? He doesn't like being referred to as the great one. But he is the great one, and he's the great one for the reason. He doesn't put great one in his profile like Benny Johnson puts Patriot in his. We say that he's one of the greatest ever in the game of hockey. But he was asked by the reporter, do you read the negative articles about your performances, about your play? He says, oh, yeah, every one of them. When I hear that my brothers think I'm going to spend all the money crappily on rebuilding the house, Somebody's messaging me somewhere. Oh, my buddy Ivan. Kiss 2024 goodbye. Yeah, no shit, right? When I see that, they think I'm not going to properly rebuild my house, that just inspires me to properly rebuild my house. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I read every one of them, all those negative comments, brothers, other family members, whoever. Thanks, Ivan, for that. My buddy Ivan, Kiss 2024 goodbye. And there's some little Pokemon figure or whatever it is with their ass sticking at you and 2024 written on it. All right. So now you know where Yergz Radio, Rainbow Radio, Mastiff.Media, and everything else is going. Yeah, it froze for a moment, but Ken tells us we're back, and I know we're back on the radio too. And we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll see you then with 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, Yergz Radio, the rest of the Mastiff.Media Network. Thanks for listening today. Will be our first day on K-Shop. Let me see if I can pull that up quick. Give you the URL. Put that in the, if you want to check out the station. Oh, that's all it is K-Shop. Yeah, look at that. All right, here it is, gang. I'll put it in the chat. KSHP.com. That's it. Nice and simple. And I'm looking at it right now. There's the strip. There's the fountains. They're not on. It would probably be a better photo if they were actually spewing water all over the place. But the fountains are, of course, from the front of the Bellagio Hotel, right across from Paris Casino and the Eiffel Tower that's there. But yeah, Bellagio, nice place. Very nice place. All right, everybody. I got to get a sandwich. I got to figure out where Joe is. And I got to get my car finished and a bunch of other stuff done. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for going with us straight up the middle. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wake up, goddammit!